Buying a house is one of the most exciting things in a lot of people's lives, especially the first time they buy a home. The thing that's even more exciting, at least in my book, is buying a brand new house, not just a regular house, but like a brand new house. But if you're not careful and if you don't know these things, buying that new house could turn from excitement to a nightmare very, very quickly. So today I want to walk you through a couple things that you probably need to be aware of that are hidden in the cost of home ownership, that if you don't know these things, you might find yourself in big trouble. So let's get into it and talk about 3, maybe 4 things that you need to know about hidden cost of home ownership when it comes to a new construction home. When it comes to new construction homes, my love of those is no secret. It's a nice, shiny, brand new object. Nobody's ever lived there. There's no skeletons in the closet. You get to make it your own. And it's one of the things that I love to sell in real estate. It's actually what I specialize in. If we haven't met before, my name is Zach. I sell real estate here in DFW. Specifically, I help clients buy and sell new construction. So if you have questions, you have comments, my contact information is right there. Would love to help you, represent you in that transaction, whether you're building, you're buying off a builder's inventory, whether you're here already in DFW, or you're moving into the area and you want to buy a brand new home. Let's connect and get it started. Because here's the thing, if you don't know these things, it's gonna cost you a ton of money, right? So my number one hidden cost that people don't realize when it comes to new construction home ownership, or really home ownership in general, is property taxes. So if you're new to Texas, or if you're new just kind of to real estate in general, we are a property tax state. So we don't have any income taxes, which is awesome. We don't have any state income taxes, I should say, but we do pay property taxes. And if you're not aware of that, you will realize very quickly how expensive those actually are. So here in DFW, on average, we see property tax rates that sit somewhere between 1.9 and 3.2% of the assessed value of the home. That's a lot of money. And so if you have an escrow account, you're paying that in every single month. For some people, that could be to the tune of between $600 and $900 a month to pay those property taxes. Because you start thinking about, oh, we bought a house that has an assessed value of $400,000 and you're paying a 2.6% property tax rate. You start doing that math, and very quickly that number adds up, and you're like, oh, yep, wasn't thinking we were going to do that. So you can't get away from property taxes here in Texas. There are ways to mitigate those things like a homestead exemption, which you need to make sure you file. You could have some exemptions if you are a senior citizen or a veteran that has disabilities. You could have some exemptions, but for the most part, you're probably going to have to pay those taxes, and they're going to add up every single month. So I talk to a lot of people that are moving from out of state, and we go to get them pre-qualified, and they're like, oh, wait a minute, what is this like $800 bill? I'm like, yeah, that's your taxes, property taxes. It is what it is. So if you don't know that, you're going to have to pay those, and they're not going to be cheap. Also, in that property tax assessment, if you're buying in a new construction neighborhood, there is a very good chance you're going to have either a MUD, a PID, or a TERS tax. Basically, those are infrastructure taxes that are all worded a little bit differently, but in essence, it's, hey, we built infrastructure in this community. We put in roads, we put in sewage, we put in electricity, we put in all these things. The developer and the city kind of came together and agreed that they were going to do it, and then they passed the bill on to you, the new homeowner. That's the way it goes. So you are very rare, not that there are some new communities, but it's very rare that you find a new community that doesn't have that MUD or PID or something attached to it. When you find them, they're a gem, and we love that. But still, nonetheless, your property tax rate is going to still end up probably somewhere in that mid-2 range in most of North Texas. The other thing to know on a hidden property tax, this is probably the most important thing. If you don't get anything else out of this video, this is the most important one. When you buy that new construction home, whether you buy off a builder's inventory or you build, make sure when the lender sets up your escrow account, if you're going to set that up, make sure they set your taxes up the right way, because if you don't, you're going to get massive sticker shock. Here's what I mean. The county that your house is built in, so Rockwall County, Collin County, whatever county, the county sets the assessment value of your home. That's not the purchase value. That's what they say. This is on a county-wise, this is what we think the house is worth. Well, in resale, that's really easy to see because they can look year over year based on the neighborhood and like, oh, this is kind of what we think the values are, and they make a guess, right? On new construction, there was nothing there previously. Like it was a plot of dirt or, a jar with dirt in it. Sorry, got to get the reference. A jar of dirt. So there was no added value on top of that land. So in a new construction build or in a new construction home, oftentimes that first year, you're only getting taxed on the value of the land. So let's just say the assessed value is like, let's call it $40,000. And you're like, well, we paid, $450. Like, this is awesome. Yeah, it's awesome until you get sticker shock the second year, because now they're taxing based on the improved value of the land, not just the land. So this is the important piece. When you talk to your lender, when you're talking to the mortgage lender that's connected to the builder, make sure they set your escrow account up based on the projected assessed taxable value, not just the land value for that property. Because what you don't want is to be, paying into your escrow account, and then 6 months later you get a letter from them and they say, hey, you're short and you need to come up with $10,000. And it's like, well, our payment just went up $1,000 a month and we weren't expecting that. Yeah, it's a thing. So just make sure you set it up based on the projected assessed value, not just on the value of the land. Also know you can fight your property taxes. There are ways to do that, and you can ask questions about that. The first year, it's always the easiest, because you can just go in and say, look, hey, here's what we paid. Show them what we paid and take that to the county and say, this is what we paid, and you have it assessed for more. Anything beyond that, it gets a little bit difficult. Other pro tip, if your value is assessed less than what you paid for it, shut your mouth. Just stop talking. If they say, oh, the county says your house is worth $375, but you paid $425, do not go tell them that. Just be like, thank you, and move on. Pay your taxes and move on. So that's a hidden cost that if you don't realize it, you're going to spend a lot of money in property taxes. Currently, there's no way around that, but you just need to have that built in to your expected budgeting for your home. Second hidden cost that comes in a new construction space is your HOA. So again, kind of like the no mud, no PID taxes, very rarely will you find builders and developers that are not building with an HOA in mind. So what's happening is these developers are coming in, and in some of these communities, they're putting in all of these different amenities, walking trails, dog parks, playgrounds, swimming pools, bowling alleys. Yeah, I said bowling alleys. There's some builders that are doing that. And somebody those have to be paid for to maintain. You also have to maintain the neighborhood. So you will find you have HOA dues. Also, just know sometimes your HOA dues can be paid as part of your escrow account. Sometimes they're paid totally separately. Sometimes your HOA dues are paid monthly. Sometimes they're paid quarterly. Sometimes they're paid semi-annually. Sometimes they're paid once a year. It just depends on the neighborhood and how they have it set up and what the management looks like. So just be mindful that you have to pay those things. Also, just know every HOA is going to fluctuate. There's some that are $150 a year to $300 a year to $150 a month. It just depends on the neighborhood that you move in. So be sure you know that before you choose to build or buy in that neighborhood, how much that HOA is going to cost you, because you have to pay it. If you live there, you have to pay the dues. There's no, we don't feel like it today. No, you're going to pay your dues. The HOA can also, if you don't pay your dues, they can start to fine you, and they can put a lien on your house. And eventually, if it gets too crazy, they can have you evicted because you're not paying the HOA. So hidden cost, make sure you pay the HOA if you want to keep your house and you want to stay in good standing, and you want access to the pool and the dog park. You want access to those things, you got to make sure you pay the HOA. But if you're not aware of it and you're not ready for it, it might sneak up on you as something that is hidden in your cost of home ownership. Number 3, this is a unique one. So hidden cost number 3 in new construction is a maintenance cost. And now I want to give a little bit of a kind of a caveat with this and just kind of say, hey, maintenance cost on a new construction home is different than maintenance cost on a resale home. So on a new construction home, you are most likely going to get some sort of warranty from the builder. Usually it's a 1-year cosmetics/workmanship, 2 years on anything system-wise, and 6 to 10 on anything structure. You're going to get those warranties. It's going to cover anything major that might come up. You also will get the manufacturer warranties on things like your air handler, your dishwasher, and any sort of appliance that has been installed in your home. So if something major comes up, you have that warranty to fall back on. But what I'm talking about is less about major things, which is a benefit of buying new construction, and more about just general ongoing homeowner maintenance, right? If this is your first time owning a home, you don't get to call, you can't call the landlord and say, hey, this thing is broken, or hey, you're the person. Like, you have to be the person to fix that. And so I try and talk to my clients through, like, guys, you're not just a mortgage payer, you're a homeowner, which means that you're responsible for maintenance, you're responsible for upkeep, you're responsible for protecting the asset, which means, maintenance things like, hey, make sure you change your air filter, make sure you, yearly you're having your water heater drained and flushed out because there's a buildup in there. Make sure you're taking care of lubricating your garage doors, winterizing your house for the summer, or not for the summer. We don't winterize for the summer. Winterize for the winter. Goodness. Mowing your yard, keeping your flower beds taken care of. Make sure there's not weeds in there. Make sure the trees stay alive. That's a big one that HOAs will get you for, because everybody has the little bitty trees that get planted in your front yard. The HOA will get you if your tree is dead. I was having this conversation the other day with a client. They're first-time homeowners. They're getting ready to close, and she asked me, and it was well intended. She goes, "Well, who's responsible for like mowing our yard and like making sure the tree and we don't get any weeds?" And I just kind of looked at her and I was like, "You are." I mean, of course you can hire somebody and you can pay for those things, but home maintenance is on you. So if you're not ready for that, if you're not expecting that, just know, like, I know that sounds kind of redundant, but like, hey, you're the homeowner now. You have to, maintain the house. Of course, anything major, you've got your warranty. That's helpful. The other big thing I think is a mindset thing is, like, instead of, on the biggest deal for me on new construction is like, you're buying a canvas, you're not buying a problem. So like on a resale side, you don't know what you're going to find in terms of maintenance that you just like have to do. On the new construction side, you have the canvas of the things you get to do. So it's like, oh, we want to paint the inside of our house. Oh, we want to knock out this wall and add handrails, or hey, we want to add drawer pulls or cabinet pulls, or we want to change light fixtures. Like you get the ability to make that canvas your own, but you also have the responsibility and the obligation to maintain it as it is your own, and there's not a landlord to call anymore. And those kind of things can add up. You're probably going to spend, if I'm guessing, 0.5% to 1.5% a year of the purchase price of your home in just maintenance. If you start adding things up, like lawn control, weed control, air filters, all of those things that just kind of go into the normal wear and tear maintenance of your home, it's probably 1% a year. So you need to make sure that you're ready for that when you're making this big purchase. And it's not just a place that you're paying the mortgage every single month. My last one is my bonus one of unexpected hidden costs in new construction and just homes in general is homeowners insurance. I think a lot of people kind of get surprised. I'm not an insurance agent. I can't tell you. I can just tell you, like, when we shop ours or I have clients shop theirs and it's like, oh, this is what we're getting in a policy. They are very surprised how expensive homeowners insurance can be, especially here in North Texas, as we've seen rates kind of go up a little bit because of, the few winter storms we've had over the last couple of years, tornadoes, things like that. Just be mindful. Your homeowner's insurance policy is again a thing you have to maintain every year. The mortgage, unless you paid cash for your home, and even if you paid cash, you should have insurance. Unless you paid cash, the lender is going to require you to have property insurance. Also, if you don't have it, like if you're just like, I'm not going to get it, the lender will buy it for you and they will pay a premium for it, and then they will charge you for it. So you're going to have it either way. Just don't be surprised by how expensive it is. Oftentimes you can bundle all of those things together. Check with your local insurance agent, but just don't be surprised by those hidden costs. All of those things add up, but the benefits on buying new construction, the biggest one, it's one of the biggest ones, it's energy efficient. It's always funny to me to talk with people who have, either rented or owned resale homes or have never really bought anything new. And we start talking about electric bills and they're like, oh, our electric bill is so much this and this and this. And I'm like, yeah, ours is nowhere near that. And they're like, what? And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. Energy efficiency is a big deal in new construction, which means you're going to save on your power bill, which is a huge deal in Texas. So where you're going to spend some more on other things, you're going to get to save a little bit on the energy efficiency side in new construction. So that gets you all of those hidden costs. I'm sure there are probably more that I missed. If you have questions, I'd love for you to leave them down in the comments. If you need help buying a new construction home here in DFW, my contact information is right at the bottom of this video. Call, text, email, whatever you need. Here to help any way I can, but I can't do that if you don't reach out to me. So I'm here to answer any questions, here to educate and serve along the way. Appreciate you hanging out with us. If you want to continue to learn all about the new construction space here in DFW. Subscribe to the channel. We have new content every single week. And if you found value in this video, give it a thumbs up because it goes a long way. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you in our next video. Bye for now.